This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to Grow Omaha. Jeff Beals here at your service. The show is brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. This is the only show in the metro area that talks about growth and development, business expansion, real estate and construction, fun topics. And I'm going to bring on my my full-time co-host.
Yeah, it's only been 950 shows, ladies and gentlemen.
What's your name, sir?
Trenton Magid.
Trenton Magid, the real ghost. You know, we were working out the fall schedule, and, I'm going to miss a couple here or there. You're going to miss a couple here and there, and I was working on guest co-hosts, so I think that's where that came from.
I take it personally.
I wouldn't. No harm intended. Well, ladies and gentlemen, glad you're with us. We have a new section in our newsletter. We just launched it this week. It is a residential real estate update. Joe Finley from NP Dodge is writing that for us every other week. And so you want to make sure you read that. If you missed this week's newsletter, it comes out every Thursday afternoon. You can find it on growomaha.com. Just click on Market Report. Or if you want to have it sent to you, you can sign up at growomaha.com or send an email to news@growomaha.com.
Don't cost nothing.
It doesn't cost anything, and the information you get in it could make you a lot of money. Well, are we ready to go to the news of the week?
I think we are.
It is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages really well. In fact, it doesn't matter whether you're going to go conventional, FHA, VA, they help you with all of that. Good people there that will sit down and listen to you, find out about your situation, match you up with the best lending option possible. And as we always say, if you're thinking about buying a new house, make sure you get that pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage, because that will make the whole process a lot easier. You can find them in person, 114th and Davenport, or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com.
You know where the best place to go is on a rainy day?
Where?
If it's a Saturday, is a Twist of Fate estate auction, Jeff.
Are we still talking about Twist of Fate estate auctions?
Well, they still have just a few of my items that they're going to sell at other estate auctions. I'm not sure about today, but they're great people. Joel and Tashelle, Spring Ridge Estate Sale. The address is 1215 South 76th Avenue Circle, from 9 to 5 today, same as tomorrow. But go to Twist of Fate Estate Sales and check them out. They do a fine job.
But if a person wants a piece of Trenton's past, how do they know what stuff at this estate sale was once part of you?
It's just the best items at any sale.
I'm just going to have to wing it and hope that it works out.
Just say, I want part of the Trenton collection.
The Trenton collection. All right. On that note, news of the week brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. The first thing on the docket is Costco. We talked a little bit about this last week, but the planning board did approve that project. That's not the final deal. It's still got to go to the city council and all that, but that's a key hurdle to make it happen. This will be on the southeast corner of 180th and West Maple Road. It's a 36-acre parcel, and of that, Costco will take quite a bit. It'll have some outlots, a couple pad sites might be available. There will also be a Costco gas station, as is par for the course. And at the planning board meeting, we found out that this Costco gas station will be larger than the other Costco gas stations in town. So good progress on that. And that's just a little bit east of the previously announced Fleet Farm. And I got to tell you, Trent, even though we have announced Fleet Farm and mentioned it numerous times, both on the radio and on the newsletter, I probably get through the Grow Omaha website probably 3 or 4 emails a day asking if Fleet Farm is coming to town.
And a lot of people don't know what Fleet Farm is, but it's like a combination between a Menards, what would you say? It's like a Tractor Supply, Menards,
Aggie, some maybe throwing a little bit of a Cabela's Bass Pro bit in there. It's a lot of things in a Fleet Farm.
And then they've been flirting with Omaha. They had 3 locations teed up, and then they blew it off, and then they changed locations. But they own that land out there. There's also rumors about them going on Highway 370 And then the other rumor I heard, and I've said it before on here before, but it's just a rumor at this point, is to the east of Fleet Farm. So it would be what would this be? It'd be west of 180th. Would be Sam's Club.
Yeah, Sam's Club. That would be a great catch for that West Maple corridor. But going back to the Fleet Farm on 370, I've heard that a couple places too. Don't know the exact street number on Highway 370, but there is a big project being graded west of 192nd, so perhaps that could be.
Yeah, 370's hop, and everybody should go and check out the brand new Tommy's Express Car Wash. It was supposed to be a CVS 13 years ago. A deal I put together, great operator, Mitchell Management, and it's right next to McDonald's and Storage Mart. And this thing is shining beacon on the hill. And I was the third car that went through this brand new
were you really?
Express. Yeah, so congratulations to them.
It was Thursday that it opened, right?
I believe so.
Okay,
right.
so you were the third car?
Yeah,
Huh.
so I was in the third lane. Yeah,
That's kind
I
of
was in pole
cool.
position, but I was close.
So you got there just a little too late in order to be number one.
Well, number one, I think people are signing up for a subscription, or membership.
I gotcha. Well, we going to talk about a few things that the planning board approved this week in addition to the aforementioned 36-acre lot for Costco on West Maple. A few other things that would be significant. There's a $22 million industrial building planned for an 11-acre site northwest of 9th and Stores Expressway. So that's just a little bit west of Epley, immediately south of the Logier Corporation complex. This will be developed by Green Slate Development, which is better known for urban apartment and retail projects, especially in the Blackstone district. But this building, 160,000 square foot warehouse, the planning board approved $3.2 million in tax increment financing for the project. And this is part of a movement of new industrial in that area because maybe 5-6 blocks to the east, there's 150,000 square foot industrial building where the dirt work's already been done right where Stores and Abbott Drive meet. Mm-hmm. So that whole area, and then there was we talked about one.
Krejci did one.
Yeah, that's the Krejci one.
It's almost done, isn't it?
No. They've done the dirt work, and it looks like there's a little bit of surcharging, but nothing has gone vertical yet. Okay. But then there was a smaller 65,000 square foot one, a little closer to Carter Lake that we talked about a couple weeks ago on the show. So a lot of that land up in that area northwest of the airport, Stores Expressway corridor seems to be filling in.
Isn't it funny that it's been here this long?
Yeah.
You think, what is it? Is there more? What's the desire to be next to air freight all of a sudden?
I think it could be that, but I'm wondering, Trent, if it's maybe just the demand on industrial is so sky high right now, and we're going so far out on Interstate 80 into Sarpy County. I wonder if some people just haven't said, geez, there's some empty lots close to the airport. Maybe we could put industrial space there.
Yeah. Congratulations to Fremont Custom Carriers. John Meyer and I represented Millard Lumber. They've got a new 67,000 square foot tenant. We didn't even have to put up a sign. We had 3 or 4 different offers. Great space near 132nd and I Street.
So it's in that Millard Lumber.
Yeah, kind of on the back. It's called the northwest corner of that huge campus. And congratulations to the Russells and FCC. It's called Fremont Custom Carriers for distribution space and logistics.
Another project approved through the planning board this week would be a 4-story apartment building at 522 Park Avenue. It's just a little bit south of Midtown Crossing. And this is an $8.6 million project, 43 market rate apartments. Completion is planned for May of 24, but that area shows a lot of promise for growth as well. Just as you think about the streetcar line is going to be on Farnham and perhaps Harney, depending on whether it's all on one street or if it goes on 2, because those are currently one-ways. That momentum in terms of real estate development on either side of that Farnham-Harney corridor is probably going to extend several blocks. So that area is hot.
It's pretty exciting. You know, as I was talking about new deals, we did a lease. Brian Thomas is our latest addition of our office, a great...
At NAINP Dodge.
Yeah, he's 24 years in the Air Force, Special Forces, and Brian Thomas has a couple years experience in commercial real estate after his active service. Thank you for that. He represented Gavilon Fertilizer. It was about 1,500 people around the country, and they took about 5,000 feet at 12702 Westport Parkway, which is right over by Cabela's, right on the interstate, 3-story building, the Schumacher Enterprise Zone. So they took half the top floor, and I just have a 6,100 square foot office space there right on the interstate with signage available, and it has a bank drive-through space. For some reason, there's some bank drive-through spaces where people can't see through it just to turn it into regular office space, but great space at the interstate if anybody's looking for that. But congratulations to everybody involved in that transaction.
Yeah, that is a cool transaction, and good to see a company like that staying in Omaha. Rose Garden Apartments are planned for the intersection of 168th and Shirley. So that would be between Pacific and West Center. Of course, that stretch of 168th was just widened to 4 lanes. In fact, it's not even 100% done yet. They're doing a little bit of cleanup work on it here and there. But this is a nice infill project, 194 units and 6 buildings. A couple of the buildings will be 3 stories. A couple of them will be 5 stories. We'll have a pool there. McNeil Company is the developer. Start building sometime next year.
Hard to believe that's an infill project now. We're so far west.
Gosh, that's a good way of putting it. But when you look on it on the map, there's development all around it, and offices just to the south.
I'm sure that's the definition of infill project.
It's a good point. But that neighborhood, there's a residential neighborhood. Both of those neighborhoods have been there for quite a long time. So even though it's way out there, they were early neighborhoods in that in terms of when they were developed. So that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, EagleMortgageCompany.com. When we come back, we're going to be talking about several other news stories. We're going to talk about maybe the county government running out of space downtown, and we're going to be talking about a new retailer in Midtown. So all sorts of stuff coming up. Stay with us. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. We did so much talking last night at the reunion, I'm all scratchy.
By the way, the Twisted Fade would be happy to advertise
On Newsline?
whatever. And we, I just told him, I said, let's just get along and I can just mention it for free. Tell Beals make sure advertise.
Funny.
Thanks a lot for telling me about that residential section.
You just read it.
So what is? Tell me about it.
I figure you just read.
Tell us about it.
I figure you just read your newsletter.
No, what's the deal?
So Joe Finley is an NP Dodge agent and wants to write for us. And
Any cheddar?
what's that?
We get any cheddar for it?
We do. Yeah. I don't know if we want to say that on Cut, but yeah, some of our content is paid for on the newsletter, but it's still good content. And
Well, the reason why you get all this for free, well, radio's free anyway, but the reason why the newsletter is so successful and why Jeff works me so hard on it, okay, he works himself hard, is because we have great sponsors. And so, unlike other both online and periodic or hard copies, which try to emulate our electric versions.
unlike lesser business journalism outlets,
Right.
what were we going to say though? Unlike
Ours is free.
ours is free.
It's
Yeah.
all digital, all free, all in your inbox,
All the time, or at least every
all the time. And people throw information at us, and you are the beneficiary of that. We have over 13,000 people now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And even over half of those have opted in, meaning that you signed up for it, not that we just found your email address somewhere. Do we have a contest coming up for sign up?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and launch it after because Nebraska Crossing is going to announce the Subaru giveaway on our show.
Okay.
On September 24th. So I figured I'd announce it. We'd start it after that so it doesn't confuse anyone.
Okay.
Because the giveaway is going to be Nebraska Crossing gift cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to give away 2 $500 Nebraska Crossing gift cards. And so
Yeah, don't sign up for the newsletter until then.
But you can also get points for recommending it or forwarding it to a friend.
Okay, so people can put in their friends' names.
The more points you have, the more entries you have into the drawing. So if you sign up for the newsletter, that'll be an entry. If you forward it to someone who signs up for the newsletter, that'll be an entry. If you sign up for, we're going to do this if it's possible. If you like our YouTube channel, that's an entry.
Okay.
So there'll be ways that you get more entries.
And now they're going to be members of our YouTube channel.
30. Or I think you just have to like it. Or
The way you want
subscribe. That's what you have to do. I just
Yeah.
get the terminology mixed up. But yeah, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, I think we're going to try and make it so that you get an entry from that.
And PricewaterhouseCoopers is going to select it randomly.
Actually, Gleam dot whatever it is, the service that we're using has a computer system that
The parent company at Pricewaterhouse, if it still existed, probably does. Or it's called PRC or something. PWC.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid in the KFAB penthouse studio high above Underwood Avenue in beautiful downtown Dundee. We are glad you joined us. We are brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. Dingman's Collision Center constantly wins that Best of Omaha award for best auto body repair, and it's because they do such an outstanding job and they take good care of people too. And don't forget, they also have mechanical repair services. You can find them at 4 Omaha area locations, Dingman's Collision Center. We love them, and you will too. Well, Trenton, you and I both survived our 35th high school reunion, Westside High School.
Go Warriors.
Class of 87 last night.
And they beat Bellevue West last night.
Wow. So
They were behind a touchdown at halftime, if my sources is correct.
And Bellevue West and Westside was kind of the marquee high
1
school
and 3.
game.
We were 1 and they're 3. I'm guessing we're still number 1.
I imagine after that. So, yeah, it was good to see everyone. And a lot of our classmates said that they are Grow Omaha listeners, and a lot of them were going to be listening today to see if you and I actually were both able to get up and get here on time, and here we are.
Well, what was interesting is some of our classmates, Class 87 Westside High School, brought Grow Omaha fans. It's like these people heard about it. They heard about that Jeff and I were members of the class. They were listeners to our show, and they came. We want to give a shout out to Jeff.
that nice guy Jeff who came.
He took a picture of just me after we had a picture of the three of us. He's like, "Hey, can I get a picture of just you and I, Trenton?"
It's kind of special.
Well, and actually, I might have offered.
You may have offered the picture. Well, one member of our Grow Omaha team is Brad Williams, and you guys all know Brad. He's such a great guy, one of the best photographers in the metro area. He is exhibiting today at the 51st Annual Rockbrook Village Art Fair.
And tomorrow.
That's true. It's 10 to 6 today and 10 to 5 tomorrow. It's free, rain or shine, which is good because there's probably going to be a lot of rain, but don't let that stop you. Because
by the big flag?
Yeah, he's in the middle by the big flag in front of Reveille. And so go check out Brad. You can meet him in person. I know so many of you listen to him all the time here on the show. And if you want to meet him in person and see his beautiful photography, go to Rockbrook today.
And you can see his
tomorrow.
Videography. The construction update's coming up, right?
Yeah, we'll have another Brad Williams construction update, which should, I believe, come out this weekend or Monday. We should have it posted this weekend or Monday. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. Hey, this is really cool. Stories Coffee. Couple things about Stories Coffee. Number one, they just opened in Gretna, and this is in a brand new building that they share with Good Life Sports Bar. Mm-hmm. And now we find out Stories is going to take over the old Culprit Cafe space in Midtown Crossing. This is a great bay. It was originally, remember Delise?
Yeah.
Was there? I always liked Delise. And then Culprit was there for a little while, and Culprit had some issues with both locations. And now that's going to be Stories. Perfect tenant for that spot, because that spot was designed to be a coffee shop. And because you got
except for the drive-through.
Well, I suppose, but it's more like that urban style, and and it's right across the street from all that other stuff over there. Like where the horseshoe is and everything else. And it's really close to the parking garage. So great news there for Midtown Crossing and for Stories.
It's no Pickleman's, but yeah.
we love Stories, and they're going to have a full kitchen there, and so this will allow them to make more products in house, and they will open in late October. And then we've got a live remote coming up in a couple of weeks at the brand new REI. And when we have that, we're going to be giving away, well, not us, Nebraska Crossing and REI will be giving away a 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness car. And we're going to be announcing it on that show.
Is that one of those that have the tent on the back of it or something?
A car has a tent on the back of it?
Something where you can get like an attachment, like the tent attachment.
Ah, that'd be pretty cool.
Some have them on the roof.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of this.
Yours not as big a camper as I am.
I'm not a Subaru driver, but I'll have to check that out. I don't think you and I are eligible to win.
Well, I know you haven't recovered since Saturn went down, and you missed all those picnics, and remember those like. Anybody that you knew that had a Saturn, which was a General Motors car,
was a GM product, yeah.
And they would send you like hate mail if you didn't go to the functions. They'd have like things in the park, and they'd have all kinds of road rallies and things like that. And
hate mail, or just
they created this community, and it was like
they tried.
Like they had hand signals and all kinds of stuff, and
these were the commercials, right? They always had these commercials.
Yeah, but it was like a family of it was perfect spoofing for like Saturday Night Live or something like that.
Yeah, it was a different kind of car company that they tried to create, and it was launched with much fanfare, and they received a lot of accolades for their marketing, but they stopped making Saturns a long time ago. So it must have been a temporary passing fancy, I guess, in the marketing and car manufacturing world. So that was a tangent I didn't expect to take, but interesting nonetheless. But with it, we're going to go take our middle of the show break, and we'll have the news. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking. We'll have the Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight brought to you by Noddle Companies. And we're also going to be interviewing Julia Hebenstreit from the Kim Foundation. So stay with us. A lot more to come. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
I think Saturn would still be around if they would have named it Uranus.
Very good. Yeah. I was going to say something, but I'm going to pass.
Did you take some food home last night?
I did not. Did you?
No, Doug took it home. And then Craig, I took a huge piece of the cake and I had him put it in styrofoam.
Yeah.
And I put Craig's West Side wood thing.
Yeah.
I put it on top of it, this is a stand for it.
Uh-huh.
He's okay.
That's funny.
You want one of those wood?
What are those things?
You can put it in Jack's room. It's like it's
all prank him.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
He doesn't like West Side?
He hates West Side. Yeah.
Do they kick his ass all the time?
No, it's usually about 50-50. Yeah. It's a good rivalry.
How's it hitting?
Getting a lot better. Yeah. He had a thing.
Bone spur?
No, we took him in Thursday to have an ultrasound guided nerve injection or something like that. And
Not bad for a 16-year-old.
when they got in there, they said, "Oh, his ulnar nerve, ulnar nerve, something like that."
Sure, I can tell you.
Was behind a bone that it wasn't supposed to be behind from the injury, and so they think they fixed that. And so,
What stupid thing did he do to get that? He was like,
got hit by an 88 mile per hour pitch right in the elbow. It was like,
I thought he did something like jacking around one time.
oh, that was his freshman year.
Okay.
Had a hairline fracture in his wrist from they were having a competition of playing tennis and during gym class.
Do they do the hardest?
It was more like they had to hit the ball while leaping over the net. And one time his toe caught the top of the net and didn't end well. But no, this year it was this kid was pitching like in the upper 80s.
Wow.
But he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, which is why he was playing JV instead of varsity. And so it came at Jack, and he turned like this, when you're getting hit, but it managed to go back behind his back. The pitch went behind his back and came in and 87 miles per hour right there. And to this, that was early April, he's still got numbness and tingling in his fingers, so we're trying different things to
Was
get
this practice or was this?
That was a game. It was a first week
What
April.
team?
Do you want to say that? Since some people might know what kid I'm criticizing. Yeah, I don't want to say anything. I'm sure he's a nice kid. He has a great arm. No accuracy whatsoever.
Yeah. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Your parents are huge listeners
Who
of
hit my kid?
watchers of this show.
Do you know who you are who hit my kid with that pitch? So anyway, we'll see if that fixes it. Games today are rained out.
Games tonight at 6:30.
Husker game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I have not been to Husker games since maybe I went to 1 or 2 in 2019.
Really?
Yeah. I used to never miss them, but now I just don't have.
I was invited tonight. I'm like that.
I don't have any desire to go anymore. Aside from the fact that we suck, it's just a pain in the butt. To
What
go.
channel is it on Fox?
FS1
So
FS1. What channel's that in Cox?
78.
FS1. Okay. Wonder how we ended up there.
I'm gonna get rid of everything I think but basic Cox.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten rid of Cox. It just has like Hulu or Roku
Yeah.
stick or whatever the fuck it is. For my friend.
Quit your fucking cussing.
We're gonna dock on YouTube. But we never watch. There's nothing on. 8,000 channels and nothing on, and our bill's like $350 a month or something.
I know,
With
it's
the internet
insane.
and everything else. Do you guys still have Cox?
We've dropped a couple things. Like we've gone down. Like we got years ago. We got rid of all movie stuff, and we got rid of.
If you have Netflix and you have
Yeah, I think for all we had high def and something, we got rid of the more expensive. We got rid of the.
I love how cable got rid of the high
basic.
def channels, and now they're all high def channels. Like
Oh, is that
Yeah,
what it
they
is?
don't.
they transition. So instead of like you had 1,300 for
They're
the
always
high
cutting
def,
back.
and now it's just the regular.
We keep cutting back, but I
300.
think we were concerned because we wanted to drop Cox altogether. Obviously, they're not an advertiser.
They'd cut off your Cox if you don't
We,
pay it.
we wanted to drop them altogether, but there was one little thing that we were worried that we wouldn't be able to get.
The ESPN.
I think maybe it was a sport something, because we watch a lot of sports in the house. So
It's the Spanish package you wanted.
sure. Or I've got Spanish language channels in our basic package.
You would be.
Yeah, but they bake those in.
Oh, okay.
You're not really paying
What I like,
extra.
what I get a kick out of the Spanish thing, and you'll probably get a kick out of this, Amy, as native Spanish speaker, how they sound exciting in the promos like they do on English TV, but it sounds funny to me in Spanish. They're like, "Esta lunes," and
It's like the Omaha Mexican,
strikes me as
the Mexican Spanish stations. Like, don't insult catch the payment.
"Esta sábado."
That's not speaking Spanish, ladies and gentlemen.
You're good. Esta lunes.
Big Lou.
Oh. I want to meet Big Lou sometime.
I know.
Remember,
He's on number 2,
Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
and he's on wife number 2.
Remember,
Big Lou has been through the ringer.
Except he's only on number 2.
Big Lou just got out of prison.
Yeah. But he's only on number 2. After that commercial, he's going to be heading towards number 3 here pretty soon.
And then there's
I wonder how huge he is. I got a picture like 6'8", 400.
As big as you want to
Yeah.
think he is.
I always picture like 6'8",
and then there's
400.
like MetaShare. $8 billion of other people's expenses are paid.
And the guy,
They help each other.
the guy on there, the guy who
They give you money back on your insurance.
the guy who voices it's funny. He's like, if something works, why wouldn't you call 1-800-something Bible?
Yeah.
And he'll do this thing like, yeah, we share people's
15.
medical expenses.
What's this person's name that's calling?
Julia.
Okay.
Is she on the line yet?
Nope. It's 36.
Oh, we're early. Okay. Yeah, we'll kill some time
I'll
with some other
just
stuff.
wave and smile when it's ready.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It'll probably happen to her.
We gotta have some stuff to talk about.
What are you doing? Stop.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals at your service, sitting next to Trenton Magid of NAI NP Dodge. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Trenton Magid, when you had your roof replaced on your house a while back, what company did you use?
I used D&M Roofing and Siding, and I got this fancy Yeti insulated mug.
That's true.
But I would have gotten that anyway because Eric Obrempt and the fine folks at D&M Roofing do an amazing job. And they literally came out, one day they took the roof off, the next day they put a new roof on, and they were done in 2 days. And I've got a palatial house.
It's a hell of a house. But D&M Roofing did a nice job, and they do a nice job with commercial buildings as well. In fact, if you are a property manager or owner of a commercial building, call D&M Roofing and Siding and ask them about their preventative maintenance program. They have saved building owners countless dollars over the years with this program, which is very unique and very cutting edge in the roofing industry. So we appreciate and thank D&M Roofing for being one of our key Grow Omaha sponsors. All right, it's time for the Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight, brought to you by Noddle Companies. NoddleCompanies.com is based here in Omaha, and they are a prolific commercial and residential real estate developer. They have projects all over the United States, but here in Omaha, they're famous for Exarban Village, Builders District, River's Edge, Steel Ridge, Village Point Medical Campus, and many, many other projects. And so we've got a few things to share with you today from some of our favorite Noddle Companies projects. The first one is Steel Ridge. Steel Ridge is the development that is on the southeast side of Interstate 80 at Highway 370.
Call it 150th and 370.
Sounds good. And so a few things happening there. An H&H car dealership has been under construction, and the progress on that is coming along quite nicely. But I've noticed lately when you drive by Steel Ridge, there's some prominent signage going up right along the interstate, which is going to be kind of promoting, presumably, the businesses in that area. Construction has not yet started, but is planned for a Menards home improvement store that will sit on Steel Ridge. And then another part of Steel Ridge goes south of 370, but still on that east-southeast side of Interstate 80. And so much is going on down there. In fact, if you look, there's a lot of grading that's kind of going on even southwest of there. So that area is really filling in pretty nicely. Next thing we want to mention in the Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight is what we call the Dewey Row Gold Coast project. This is at 38th and Dewey in the Mid-Center area, kind of on the south side of the Blackstone district. And Dewey Row Gold Coast is a series of 6 tri-level townhomes. Very, very nice. They kind of blend in very well with the historic neighborhood. They kind of play off of and contribute to that Blackstone district vibe. As of yesterday, only 2 of those are left.
Wow.
So those are selling. And so if you think you might want to have a tri-level townhome in the Blackstone area to kind of get into that hoppin', very popular special scene down there, you might want to hustle on that a little bit.
Call Noddle Companies, mention the Grow Omaha, and they will move you one up on the list.
That's just Trenton saying that. I don't know if we can quite guarantee that, but give it a try.
Yeah.
What can it hurt? So that's your Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. You can find them online, simply enough, at noddlecompanies.com. Well, we're going to bring on our guest today. And right now, today is actually World Suicide Prevention Day. And you may recall, if you caught our show last week, we talked about the Play for Page Foundation, which is a newly created foundation to help prevent suicides and to help families with such tragedies. And we're going to kind of carry this on as a topic because September is a month that we focus on this topic. And so we have with us today Julia Hebenstreit. She is the executive director of the Kim Foundation. Good morning, Julia, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate you joining us and talking about a very important topic. But first of all, why don't you give us an overview of what exactly the Kim Foundation is?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. We are a family foundation based here in Omaha, but work throughout the state of Nebraska. And our mission is to serve as a supportive resource and compassionate voice for lives touched by mental illness and suicide. So we really focus on community engagement and education around these topics. Both mental health and suicide are still things that are very stigmatized within our society. And so really working to break down that stigma so that people feel comfortable opening up and talking about situations that either they or a loved one are experiencing, but also that they feel comfortable and safe reaching out for help when, when that's needed, and just really changing society's mindset and our community's mindset to shift to get folks to realize that mental health is just as important as physical health, and you can't have one without the other, and just connecting people to the resources that they need. We do free training throughout the community. We do over 300 a year, and so provide a lot of community engagement and education resources around these important topics.
What are some ways that people, if they're experiencing some mental health issues on their own or a loved one, what are some resources through the Kim Foundation where they can reach out and get the help that they need?
Yeah, oftentimes people aren't as familiar with the mental health landscape in our community until they do need it, and so they just aren't sure where to turn. So they can call us, and we don't endorse one provider over another, but we do spend a lot of time getting to know providers and organizations throughout the community, so really can connect them to someone that we think might be a good fit for them. Other times they've experienced a variety of resources already and haven't had good luck, and so we're able to connect them hopefully with someone that can help their specific situation. But also sometimes, they just feel very alone in it, and that they don't understand there's others out there struggling with, mental health, or either of themselves or a loved one. And so just allowing them that safe space to have that conversation and learn more about what it is they're experiencing. And then on the other end, we do suicide postvention as well as prevention. So postvention is after someone has died by suicide. We work with all the local law enforcement agencies and are notified every time a suicide does occur, and we reach out to that family. They're considered survivors. In suicide, a survivor is someone who's lost a loved one to suicide. And so we are able to meet with that family, help them through that immediate crisis, and connect them with support resources, because research shows the sooner that they get help and start working toward through their grief, then they are less likely to ever think about suicide themselves. So we provide some important resources in the community. We never want to have to go visit a family, certainly, but we are here to support them through that once they do need our services.
How can people get a hold of Kim Foundation?
You can call our office. Our general number is 402-891-6911, or you can reach us online at thekimfoundation.org, and there's email forms that you can send in through there, a ton of resources and information about what's available in the community, how to get connected if this is something that you're interested in volunteering or learning more about, and just kind of what's coming up in the community as well.
We're talking with Julia Hebenstreit from the Kim Foundation. And Julia, can you tell us a little bit about this new 988 three-digit calling code that rolled out this summer and how people can use that if it's needed?
Absolutely. So 988 is taking the place of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which was previously 800-273-8255. And the idea being that a three-digit call code is much easier to remember, similar to 911, than a long 800 number. And so that when someone is struggling with their mental health, it doesn't have to necessarily be suicide ideation or suicidal thoughts. It can simply be a mental health crisis. They can call for any reason, and it doesn't have to be they themselves. So if they're worried about someone, they can call 988 and talk through that with a trained crisis counselor. So 988 was developed to really transform our behavioral health system across our country, and it was built on 3 pillars. So someone to call. So whenever you call 988, you're going to reach a trained crisis counselor within your community 24/7. The second pillar is someone to come. If that crisis counselor isn't enough and they need to send send someone out to be with you. They can send a crisis response team to really help de-escalate in person for the individual struggling or the family as well, and then somewhere to go. So really building up that continuum of care throughout our community and state so that people receive the help that they need when they need it, because that's really the most important thing, to be able to have that access to care. So if someone still calls the 800 number, you'd still automatically be routed to 988, and vice versa. There won't be any leg between there. It rolled out July 16th. Here in Nebraska, we're doing a fantastic job of being ahead of the game. We had most things in place and ready to go, and so we did a soft launch on July 1, and it really kicked off July 16th, and have had increased call volume, which is encouraging for people. We know people are hearing about it and knowing about it, because a lot of the calls are just wanting more information or make sure it's, a real thing. It is a very real thing, and there to serve the community, and really there to just help people when they need it.
Another minute with Julia Hebenstreit from the Kim Foundation. Before we let you go, Julia, can you tell us a little bit about this event you have coming up on November 9th?
Yeah, so we're welcoming Jay Glazer from Fox NFL. He's an NFL insider on Fox Sports, and he's going to be our keynote speaker. We join the community together every year and bring in a national keynote to really bring the community together around mental health and suicide prevention to normalize that conversation. And Jay has a very charismatic personality, obviously, as a TV personality, but has experienced depression and anxiety himself, and he's very open with that story and released a book in January of this year. So he's going to talk about his personal experiences, and he had 3 pillars as well for his recovery, and 2 of those are service to others and humor. So he'll bring a lot of that to the day. It's a luncheon at Embassy Suites, so Wednesday, November 9th. We're just really excited to have him here. We're going to do a fireside chat for the first time, so it'll be very personal. He's going to share a ton of information, and just a great opportunity to heighten awareness in the community.
Well, Julia, we appreciate what you and your colleagues at the Kim Foundation are doing to make Omaha a safer and healthier place, and we thank you for joining us this morning on Grow Omaha.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Julia Hebenstreit, head of the Kim Foundation. We're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, it will be our Turner Construction Lightning Round, and we have, as usual, lots of things on the list. You don't want to miss any of this. Stay with us. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Was there a projectile you during the middle of that interview?
Apparently I should have been texting during the interview.
Oh. I don't like texting.
It's a hostile studio
But
space.
I can see from here of your phone.
We might have to remove the phone from you for future shows.
Yes. I gotta get a guest host for next week.
Yeah. You've got, the guest is going to be, Shannon Snow from the Land Bank. Remember the
Is
Land
she coming
Bank?
in?
I assume so. I don't know if
All right, Roger, we got a guest. I don't know.
So the Land Bank, that's the thing where they buy up
Yeah.
I think we've interviewed her when she first got the job a couple of years ago. But they've
Is she the
actually,
executive director?
yeah, they've actually made a lot of progress.
Have they?
Yeah.
It's a tough go.
That is it's important, but yeah, because when I think when they had the before, it kind of got maybe a little bit slow or progress or dormant or something like that. I don't know if that's entirely true, but
Slow banking.
slow land banking, and she's kind of sped it up from what I understand.
I think Steve Carey was right. We should have made the show a half an hour.
He did say that back in the first year.
I found in my drawer. Where did I find it? You gave me some of our first shows. There's a bunch of shows on one DVD, one CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a bunch of. Remember, we used to label them and.
Yeah, and we'd send them to the guests. Yeah.
Should,
We still are guest-centric.
we don't do is post previews of the shows, like who's going to be on the show on Facebook. I wonder if we should start doing that.
It's true.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just us, though.
Yeah, we did do that.
But we can have a guest.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
September 30th for the 12th annual.
That's a good idea, Trenton. I don't want to take you know what? When there's just single source,
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
we don't lose continuity.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid at your service. And it's time for the lightning round, which is brought to you by Turner Construction. Turner Construction is doing a bang-up job in the Omaha building community.
That's a great job, by the way.
That is a very good job. And big projects like the Sarpy County Data Center and little projects like interior finishes and retail build-outs and office renovations and everything in between. So we strongly recommend Turner Construction if you're looking for a contractor. And then also we know a lot of people who listen to the show work in the trades or maybe are interested in working in the trades. And I just want to tell you, check out Turner. People who work there love it. They enjoy it. They've been growing in the area. I've got a new office that they moved into earlier this year. And people are just making a difference there and enjoying having a good time doing it. So thanks to Turner Construction for bringing this to you. Well, let's get right into it. Tupelo Honey Southern Kitchen and Bar plans to open its first Nebraska location next year in downtown Omaha. We don't have an exact site picked. I called the Tupelo Honey Southern Kitchen and Bar office in Asheville, North Carolina. They said they're very excited to be in Omaha. It's going to be downtown. They're just not quite ready to give me an address.
I think it's above Three-Polo.
Three-Polo. They currently have 18 locations in 11 states. And the cuisine is Carolina Mountain Style Southern Fare, which might be a little bit different than just
Isn't
Southern
Tupelo
Fare.
from Mississippi? Is there another?
Well, Tupelo
It's where Elvis was born.
in northern Mississippi, but Tupelo might be a bigger name than just that.
Yeah.
It might be a bigger word than just that. They have existing locations nearby in Des Moines, Iowa, and in Denver. Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews opened
Sounds
yesterday.
delicious.
Next to P.F. Chang's and Cheesecake Factory. Not yesterday, Wednesday.
It's been like 3 or 4 different things.
Yeah, it was Joe's Crab Shack at one time. It was Macaroni Grill at
That
one
was
time.
the first thing.
Yeah. Macaroni
And then
Grill.
it was that like Hooters-like place. It was
Brick
the
something.
Brick House.
Yeah, it was short-lived.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought Joe's Crab Shack was a fun place to go. You'd only go there once a year maybe because you could get better seafood, but it was a fun place to
Macaroni
go to.
Grill. Was it that or the Italian place that could write upside down? They would write they had paper over the tablecloths,
Probably Macaroni Grill.
and the servers would write their name upside down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Crayons.
I remember that. So, Trent, we got a new Pickleman's at 168th and Harrison.
Drive-through, second drive-through. They're crushing it.
Pickleman's Gourmet Cafe opened last week on the northwest corner of 168th and Harrison. Dragon Walk Express is now open at Nebraska Crossing in the renovated former Voodoo Taco Building. Don't worry, Voodoo's still there. They just moved to a different location. This is the same Dragon Walk company that is very beloved at 144th and Fort Street, second location for them. A sign of progress, literally a sign of progress. The Texas de Brazil Churrascaria Brazilian Steakhouse sign has gone up on the building at the Capital District. Still looks like they've got a ways to go, though.
It's about 5 years in the making, man. They've been talking about it forever.
Well, that pandemic thing got in the middle of it. But if you are excited for the meat sweats, it's coming soon. People
Sounds delicious.
People talk about the meat sweats all the time. If you eat too much
Wear
meat,
your
you sweat.
sweatpants.
But anyway, it's a Brazilian steakhouse, so go with a big appetite. And it is scheduled to open later this fall. And then also a big sports bar there coming, Let It Fly. But we don't know exactly when that's going to open for sure. Home Goods plans to open a 4th metro area location at Shadow Lake Town Center in Papillion.
They're getting a resurgence down there.
A lot of stuff going on at Shadow Lake.
Yeah.
In fact, here's another new retailer in Shadow Lake. Skechers plans to take over the former Pier 1 space at Shadow Lake Town Center. Skechers really has expanded in Omaha a lot. They just opened up one at 74th and Dodge earlier this year.
Pier 1.
Yeah, they're in
They like Pier 1 import spaces.
Nebraska Crossing. They're in Montclair Center at 132nd and Center. They're all over the place. Kid Strong plans to open its first Nebraska location at L Street Marketplace, 122nd and L. Kid Strong is a physical fitness franchise for kids 11 years of age and younger. It's based in Texas. They have stores in 27 states. The closest existing locations are in Kansas City and St. Louis. And the music's playing, which means we're done. It's been a great week, a great morning with all of you. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Turner Construction, D&M Roofing, and Dingman's Collision Center. We'll chat with you again next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.